All right, my brother, it's that time.
That time.
You know what that time is?
I think I do.
What do you say, J and K? All right.
Here we go.
It's the time for the questions our viewers send in to J and K, and we're going to answer them right now. So let me pick this question here. All right. I love this part, K.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
I love connecting with our listeners.
Yeah, they are great. We love them. We love y'all. We love y'all. All right, so this question, K, comes from Cheryl from Crown Heights, Brooklyn. I love how Brooklyn people have to tell you exactly where they're from. Crown Heights, right? Big up Crown Heights.
Right. Brooklyn's enough, but okay.
Brooklyn in the house, right? So Cheryl from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, she says, here's her question. She says, I've dated this incredible guy for about 6 months before we actually became boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, we've now been together for 3 years that have been overall amazing, okay? It's been so amazing that he recently has been hinting at marriage. And I have this gut feeling a proposal is around the corner, like any day now, okay? Now, although I said the relationship is overall amazing, there is one aspect of the relationship that I'm not really happy with, which kind of makes me nervous about his proposal that I think is coming up. Now, the problem is that he does not please me in the bedroom. He's never satisfied me. I'm 32, and I can count on one hand the amount of men that I've been with sexually. And so I don't have a ton of experience, but I know that he's not the one in that department. Do I accept his proposal of marriage and be miserable intimacy-wise in our relationship? Or do I reject his proposal, be honest, and tell him about his bedroom woes and how dissatisfied that I am? What do you say, J and K?
So I thought it was interesting. So one of the choices, she says, dump him, not accept the proposal, and essentially tell him about himself. Where I think she's got it, why not accept that proposal and tell him about himself? So overall, marry him, get married, have the conversation, discuss what you guys have been together for 3 years. Dude hasn't seen your O face in 3 years. You've coexisted with this. To your own words, you've got a great guy in your life who wants to propose, and we can have a discussion where any man should be proposing, but you've got one, and a good one. I think, to me, if this woman turns around and does not accept this man's proposal because she has not taken the steps to get better experiences out of the bedroom, then she deserves all of the heartbreak and hardship and everything that life has to dish her way, and life got some shit for you after dude leaves. That would be, that is, I could not, if I sat here for an hour and concentrated, I could not think of a worse reason to not marry, to not accept this man's proposal for marriage. It makes no sense at all. And I'll go a step further. I'll bet you, with some research, would probably find out that dude is okay. That maybe your puss is broken. Maybe that there's some malfunction with the plumbing down there, and he's okay. This is bad. I better not. I hope not. I hope not. And if she didn't mention this in the letter, but that little flock of seagulls that you got, with y'all sitting up there, all that other stuff, if they're in your ear, I'd say shut all of them down, move on, don't listen to them, Luckily for you, you had sense enough to send J and K a letter and ask us for advice. I'm telling you.
Love when women ask us.
If you don't get that proposal and say, drop on your damn knee, don't let that dude walk out the room. So that's my piece.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think it's a tough situation. Okay. But she can't marry him. Cheryl, listen, I hear you, and I know what you're saying. And listen, he sounds like a wonderful guy. I know he's a wonderful guy from what you're explaining. But you have only been with listen, you're 32 years old. You've only been with a handful of men. You said you can count on one hand. From what I'm getting from what you're saying is that you're wondering. Your brain is wondering what you're missing. You have never been satisfied. And don't listen to Kay, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with your plumbing. Everything is working good. There's something wrong with his D, okay? So it has to be a deeper type of thing. You know, there is no way you can marry this man and go into a marriage that you, and before the marriage even happened, you have never been satisfied. I'm not saying that you don't love him. I know you do, and I'm sure he loves you. I know he does, okay? But if a man can't satisfy you in the bedroom, it just means he can't satisfy you in the bedroom. It doesn't mean he's a mean guy. It doesn't mean he's a bad guy. But what happens if you marry him? You know what's going to happen? You're going to want some new D. You're going to want some new D. And guess what? You're going to get it. You're going to get it, right? Because that is just something that is going to be a natural type of thing that you're going to yearn and you're going to want for yourself. And it doesn't make you a bad person if you don't marry him for this reason. I would say that, and by the way, don't say nothing to the man. Don't say nothing to the man. It's nothing that he's going to be able to fix because if he has not satisfied you in 3 years of being intimate, what do you think by talking to him is going to all of a sudden going to make him, oh, well, no, you got to stroke me like that. You got to stroke me like this. Or you got to put your tongue there. It's not going to change anything. All you're going to do is devastate this poor man. Probably send him to a mental institution or something like that. I don't know what's going to happen to this guy. You're going to crush him. Because if you didn't tell him in 3 years, clearly he thought that, well, he didn't see your old face. But I don't know. I don't know what you went through that whole situation. It's not something you want to do. Don't marry the guy and don't tell him. Please spare his feelings.
Jay, so here's where you are absolutely wrong by telling her or talking to her and saying that at some point she's going to want more D.
She wants more D. She wants more D now.
Or different D.
She wants more D now.
Well, but here's the reality of this. That never changes. Whether you're in a relationship, out of a relationship, man or woman, the desire.
If you're being satisfied.
No. The desire doesn't change. What happens is you accept the fact that this is your partner. You don't go into a relationship and then all of a sudden other people become less attractive to you.
Yeah, right.
Of course. So,
right.
But what you do is you commit to your partner.
Right.
So what's on the other side? The other side of that is meet some guy who puts your back out, right? Some tripod, 3-legged, right?
Right.
He's putting in work.
Right.
But he's not a good guy.
Why does he have to not be a good guy?
Well, because
now you're going to the extreme.
No. I'm not going to the extreme. I'm saying from the standpoint of good enough to marry. How many of these men, good men, do you think are in your future to the point where you found someone that wants to be a life partner with you?
How many men want to be a father like Nick? It doesn't matter.
And this is not just and this is not just her. This is for all of us.
Yeah.
We get so disposable, or we think people are disposable. Oh, I don't want him. I don't want her. When you find that right person, and you've said this multiple times, right? Find that person, as you said, you don't let that go. So you've got that person, that conversation that you mocked, that you should have with him. It's not just, there's no all of a sudden it's going to change. Work with the kid. If everything else in that relationship about dude is
Work
good,
on something for 3 years that he's never
well,
accomplished?
she didn't. I didn't catch it that she even worked with them. She just said she wasn't satisfied. He's been putting it. Just give him an opportunity. Keep that relationship. The relationship, you to the point that you all want to be married and spend the rest of your lives together. To me, far outweighs.
What if a woman ever told you that, bro? You
Told
ain't
me
you ain't satisfying her. Would that not crush you?
No, it wouldn't crush me. First of all, I put it out there.
It wouldn't crush you?
It would not crush me. First of all, because I'm putting that out there early, right?
You put what out there early? You're asking?
Absolutely, I'm asking. I am absolutely asking. We are talking through this. There's trial and error. It's happening. We're going through it, right?
Okay.
Like, I might have a certain way that I do, some things that I do, whatever.
Right.
It might not be clicking for her.
Okay.
Right? That conversation, she needs to be able to say, that doesn't work for me, right? This works for me. This is what I like. I like it when you do this. Or why don't you do this? Because you never do this. You're paying too much attention to this body part, not enough attention to it. Like, that's how the conversation.
But you're different. Most men cannot handle, most people can't handle the truth.
Well, listen, all of that, I think.
And she knows her man, bro. She knows her
I
man.
think it happens more than you realize. Here's the thing. That pillow talk that y'all having ain't just pillow talk. When he's saying, hey, how's that feel?
Right.
That ain't just pillow. Tell him. How does it feel?
Yeah, but come on, women ain't gonna be honest like that.
Well,
they want you. A lot of men, not yours, but a lot of men's feelings are delicate, especially when it has to deal with that. So they're not gonna want to hear that. Oh, like they're not gonna want to hear that.
Well, I think it's in the messaging, right? You're talking about someone that you want to marry and someone that wants to marry you.
And I'm sure they're gonna want to have children.
You need to have that conversation. The answer is not leave that for good sex. The answer is put that work in. If you're in a relationship, you are going to be faced, and I'm talking to this woman, and I guess to all of us for that matter, you're going to be faced with some hardships. This is an opportunity to work through. We're talking about sex. I'm hard pressed to believe, unless something is physically wrong with someone, that we can't close the gap between what she wants and what I'm doing. Right? Get if you need to get a third party in, one of these, what do they call them, sex counselors?
A sex counselor?
Right, like to talk to her, to be the proxy, send that information through someone
so
to work.
Weird, bro.
Listen. Whatever. I think. Listen, I don't need to do that.
Right? But that would be embarrassing to have to
you got to do something. Like if she, I think
you do something by finding a partner who, who works with you more on an intimate level, who fulfills that need, who can accomplish that for you.
I think if you were, do you think? Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
If given the choice, what do you think is tougher? What would be the tougher to find? A good sex partner or a good life partner?
Oh, definitely a good life partner. Yeah.
Right. So that's tougher to find. So she's found a life partner. So you shouldn't give up the life partner for a sex partner.
But
to your point.
But it's
so
not,
go keep your life partner and then work on leveling up your life partner to get closer to where you want him to be as a sex partner.
Yeah, but
this just sounds simple to me.
Nah, but Cheryl, he doesn't understand. You understand? You said 3 years. So if you didn't accomplish it, and I know you didn't speak to him, but it's been 3 years, okay? And I don't think that all of a sudden, if she tells him something after 3 years, it's gonna magically make a difference, and all of a sudden she's gonna have the old face all the time. Why does it have to be
magically or all of a sudden? Like, this is the part where you're saying, I don't know why you're jumping from conversation to all of a sudden, man. Who says anything about magically? They've been together for 3 years. You haven't said anything for 3 years. She should not be expecting it to change overnight. If she does, then that's her second mistake. The first mistake is you didn't say anything at all. So you didn't even give dude a chance. He may not even know. That could be a quick comment.
How does a man not know that?
Well, listen, you think she's the first one that may have faked an old face or like she's feeling something? Listen, we know.
Yeah.
Plenty of women talk about how Dude
Right.
gets him, he gets off, she doesn't get off. That's not unreasonable to think that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first mistake is that the conversation didn't happen for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether she didn't say anything or he's not creating the kind of environment to help her feel comfortable for doing it. Either way, it should have happened. You're 3 years of knocking it down and no one's saying anything.
But this question is coming any day right now, and she's in a tough situation, and he's gonna pop the question every day. So what does she say right now when this question can come up tonight or tomorrow or whatever?
Well, then she needs to have the conversation with him.
So when he asked the question right now, what, have the conversation? So she has to say no right now and then have the conversation.
No.
Well, she can't say yes.
Yeah, of course she could say yes. If he proposes, you say yes. Done.
She doesn't know if it's going to change though.
Done.
And if it doesn't, she's screwed. And then she could potentially cheat in the future, and we don't want that happening to anybody.
Jay,
What do you mean no? It can very much happen.
No, Jay.
And let's just try to save him from having to go through that, and for her having to go through that too.
I'm going to lean on the side that she's a good woman and she's not
Sounds
going
like
to
one,
cheat.
yes.
Right. That she's about it and she's not going to cheat. I'm going to say that she needs to step up. Yeah, I know there's that part.
Okay.
I mean, that she's going to step up, have the conversation. Like, are we really talking about leaving? And like, even in her note, to not accept the proposal and then tell him why. Are you serious? Tell him. So let me get this right. So you're contemplating telling him anyway? If you're going to have the conversation with him anyway, have it with him and have your husband. Get your sex partner and your husband. I'm about winning, coming out ahead, gaining the advantage. The notion that you would say no to the marriage and then tell him why. Because
Well, I don't know. Did she say that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's what you read. So it's at the end, meaning the choices. If that's what that is, then then have the conversation with
Yeah.
them. When does it? And we've talked about this. How often in life does doing nothing end up being the best choice? And you stand on, talk about it, put it out there, let me know where you stand, where people stand, and so on. If you've got something if you've got something to this degree, I don't see how you go without having a conversation. You're literally going to turn this down without even. Now, I would probably still disagree, but even if you came back and said, meaning her, had the conversation with him, and didn't like the answer, now it's bringing the proposal into question. Okay. I would somewhat lean a little bit towards that, depending on what that the outcome from that came, right? Because it's still a marriage proposal on the table.
It is.
But the notion that you haven't said anything, no conversation, and you're going to, that doesn't.
Well, because we know that the truth hurts sometimes, and there's sometimes, I believe in honesty is the best policy, and it should be put out there. But then sometimes it's just gonna create a whole nother issue and a whole nother problem that you don't know what's gonna happen with this poor dude in certain situations. I've been honest with women talking about overweight thing, and it created a whole different drama because most people don't want to hear the truth. So just like women don't want to hear the truth about their weight issues, men don't want to hear the truth about they ain't satisfying their women in the bedroom. Like, they just don't want to.
Did you sleep with her? You had a problem with the weight, but did you sleep with her?
I might have messed up once or twice. But I tried. But I'll never do it again. I will never do it again.
Man, you're so wrong.
But I did it. I did it for the love, and I tried. And guess what? It didn't work in the long run, and this won't work in the long run either.
Wait, I told you.
Yeah.
But leave that big girl loving alone, Jay.
Yeah, but she was gorgeous.
Jay,
bro.
I'm telling. No, I
she
know.
Was beautiful.
I'm not saying leave it alone because it's bad for you. I'm saying leave it alone
because it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, well, listen.
Just like this. When people hear the truth,
that's different.
It kills people sometimes, and they can't handle it.
Well, all right, okay.
Listen, you the man, right? So you ain't never gonna hear nothing like that. So you can't relate. But there are other men who can't satisfy the women, and they can't take that.
Well, that may be true, but I have been intimate with someone, and had conversation where they're saying, hey, they say, listen, you concentrating over here,
Okay.
but that spot over here.
Well, that's adjustments.
But that's
This poor This poor
same
woman was
thing.
never satisfied.
Right.
That's a minor adjustment, which is fine.
Absolutely, but it could be along those same lines, right?
It's
like
deeper.
What's the right? Like what she made like a slow hand. He up there trying to Bronco Billy beat his high score or something like that.
Right.
I don't like, you know what I mean?
Or it could just be also, as we know, women, they orgasm off of emotional.
They do?
Yeah. Most of emotional.
Okay.
It's more of an emotional thing with them.
Okay.
I don't need to tell you this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can put in all the work you want, but if they ain't feeling you emotionally, you're gonna see that old face.
Well, then even more reason to have a conversation with them, because like I said, if it wasn't something physical,
right,
then I think everything's on the table.
Well, that's a good point. There's probably something bigger than that she doesn't even know. Maybe it's an emotional connection that they just don't have. Maybe it's just not physical. So she has that feeling where she just doesn't want to get married. That's what she's thinking. It's probably deeper.
She wants to marry him. That I'm going to step out and say that the emotional connection is there if she's considering how much she loves him. She's asking for advice. She's an investor. She's all in. She's just hot. She's just hot and horny or something like that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, of course she is. She hasn't freaking been happy in 3 years.
Satisfied at 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure those handful of other men before him, I'm sure they satisfied her.
Right.
And then she picked this dude who can't do the job.
Right. But those dudes are sticking and moving, right? Where are they? They're going to hit and be out.
Right.
Like we said, that life partner over a sex partner, and that's where it is. I would just say, listen, have the conversation with this gentleman. He sounds like a really great guy. You sound like a really awesome woman. Let's not take those relationships, those potential those life bonds between two people. Let's not take those lightly. They are not plentiful.
Yeah.
And when you have one, don't let something like what's in the bedroom, absent of a conversation in that. Go on and have that conversation and go on and get your man.
Cheryl, I hate to agree with this man right here. But yeah, you do have that conversation. I hate to say it, but you do. At least have the conversation, give him an opportunity, give him a chance. And if you love him and he loves you, then see what happens and hopefully something changes. But if it doesn't, then go ahead and do what you got to do and step out. But just don't step out on him. Leave. Tell him first. Right. I don't condone cheating. But tell him first. But at least try.
Right. I agree, Jay. Thanks for writing in.
Yeah, thanks so much, Cheryl. All right, so listen, it's been real. We had a lot of fun here on the J&K show. We kept it real, right? Unfiltered, unaffected, and unapologetic as we do, all right? And we're going to keep at it again next week, all right? So tune in then where you'll have more stories, more debates, and more fights between me and my boy, K. I love this guy. I don't like agreeing with him, but I love the guy, all right? All right, until next week, we'll see you guys later, all right? Peace. We're out. Thanks for watching the J&K Show.